Okay, we've come now to a very, very important law in physics, which is the second Newton's second law. And so what that law says is very simple, is that force is equal to mass times acceleration. Another way to write that is that if you apply a force to an object, the acceleration that is produced is equal to the force applied divided by the mass of the object. The direction of that acceleration produced is the same direction of the force. So this is Newton's second law, and this is going to be our fundamental law that we are going to use in the rest of this class to study the motion of the causes of the motion of many objects. So Newton's second law, an object that is subjected to forces F1, F2, F3 will undergo an acceleration A that is equal to the net force being the sum of these forces divided by the mass. The acceleration vector points in the same direction as the net force. Another way to write this, and this is one of the most famous equations in physics, is that the net force is equal to mass times acceleration. So now we can use this to predict the motion of many objects if we know the forces acting on the object. So for instance, here we have a problem. We have a constant force that is causing an object to accelerate at 4 meters per second squared. What is the acceleration of an object with twice the mass that experiences the same force? Take a minute to answer this question and then we'll look at the answer. So this is the answer, 2 meters per second squared. How do we get that? Well, the first acceleration is the force divided by the mass, right? And that is equal to 4 meters per second squared. The second acceleration would be the same force that is being applied. So same force, you're being told that here, but the mass now is 2 times what you had before. So then that'll be 1 over 2 times F over m, which is 2 meters per second squared. So now we have another question. Here I have an object that when pushed with a net force F has an acceleration of 2 meters per second. Now the force is, you apply twice the force, and the mass is 4 times what you had before. What is the acceleration? Take a minute to answer this question. All right, let's see. So we start with Newton's second law. Force is equal to mass times acceleration. And then the acceleration of the object then is the force that is applied divided by the mass. So now what I do is I applied twice the force, right? So I'm going to apply twice the force to an object that is 4 times as heavy, right? So I have twice the force and 4 times that heavy, so that is 1 over 2 F over m, which is 1 over 2 times the acceleration. And that is your answer.